Hi there, welcome to live stream Yoga with Louise, tips and cues to keep you safe and strong on the mat. Today's yoga class is all about treating yourself, indulging in some time to relax and renew. As always, play where you're comfortable, modify where you need to, and feel comfortable to rest as often as need be. You will require a block or perhaps a small scatter cushion to use as a prop in today's class. You ready? Let's hit the mat. We're going to start off today's class by placing our block or our cushion on the mat and then taking a seat on that prop. Sit up nice and tall and then just stack one leg in front of the other. Let's lead with the right leg in front of the left. As you come into your easy sit frame, I want you to tip or tilt your pelvis to the 6 o'clock position. Lean forward slightly so that both of your knees touch the mat. And then wedge or prop your block or your cushion behind you. And just start the first round by just stacking one foot in front of the other. Sit up as tall as you can, and we'll begin by just cleansing the chakras or the energy systems in the body with a little bit of breath work. We'll begin with Kapalabhati. For this exercise, you're going to be inhaling and exhaling exclusively through the nose. So the mouth is going to stay closed, and we'll be using a little pumping breath pattern, shooting the breath in and out, and we'll do 3 rounds. If your practice is more advanced, you can add a little chin lock. I'll give you a quick demo. You're either going to relax your hands on the tops of your thighs, or maybe place both hands on your sternum, just below your sternum, so that you're connecting to the lower belly area. You're going to inhale and exhale through the nose rapidly for 15 rounds, and then nod your chin to your chest and retain the breath before you begin again. Let's start. Take a big breath in and start again. Release the chin lock to begin your third and last round. Release your chin lock after your last round and just drop your hands, palms down onto the top of your thighs. For the next exercise, we're going to play a modified Sakari breath. I want you to inhale through your mouth and exhale through the nose. For the inhale, you're going to think of gnashing the teeth together, but keeping the purse of your lips soft so that you can suck up the air through the mouth, making a soft S sound, a hissing sound. As you do that, you're going to float your chin up to the ceiling, stretching the neck. When you're ready to exhale, nod your chin to your chest and look down towards the floor. Rinse and repeat, finding a rhythm of your own. As you inhale and look up to the ceiling, drop the shoulders away from the ears. Last round. Pause here with your chin connected to your chest and just take a few recovery breaths. Then step your feet onto the mat, toes just touching the mat. Grasp just underneath your knee pad and maybe just rock the weight back off your bum bones. If you feel a little unsteady on your prop, you can place both sets of fingertips on the mat. You're just going to toe and heel out, releasing any tension in the feet and the ankle joint. Then maybe place all 10 toes on the mat and use your fingers to prise the space between each toe apart. Then take your thumb and your index finger, pressing on each toe and giving it a little pull, as if you were trying to gently prise it off your foot. Let's do that on the other side. Prise the space between each toe apart, giving it a nice little tug, and then use your index finger and your thumb to give the toe a good grab and a little pull. Then place your fingertips on the mat, bring your feet flush against each other, and just work a modified butterfly line by allowing the knees and the feet to fall open, and then just drawing them back to their start position. Playing with that movement, gently warming up and opening up the groin area. Then come back into Siddhasana, this time leading with the opposite leg in front. Find your little wedge, find your seat, nice and tall. Interlace the hands, invert them, and push them away from you. With the heels of your hands, you're going to start tracing a little figure 8 pattern. Give me a few traces in one direction, and then change it up and trace your little figure 8 pattern in the opposite direction. Keep sending energy out through the heels of your hands. All right, then come to stillness. Unbind your hands. Take your index finger and your thumb like a little crab pincer and squeeze or press the mound of flesh between the thumb and the index finger of the opposite hand. Just give it a nice little press. Then release that press and give each little finger a tug. Just releasing the tension from the hands. Let's repeat that on side 2. Use your index finger and your thumb to just press that little fleshy mound between the index finger and the thumb of the opposite hand. Then give each little finger a little tug. Then use maybe just your index finger or your middle and your index finger to just press that little tension spot on the temple on each side. Just give a little press. Maybe you'd like to work a soft massaging motion. And then take the index finger of each hand and place it on the third eye, that little space between the 2 eyebrows. Think of tracing around the line of your brow a few times, applying a fair amount of gentle pressure. Maybe you'd like to close your eyes for this one. And then taking the middle and index finger of one hand, you're going to press directly on the third eye and then pull ever so gently up towards the crown of your head. Do that a few times, maybe closing your eyes and taking your focus in. Then release your hands, drop them at your side, take a big breath in, chin line beginning parallel to the floor, and on an exhale, nod your chin to your chest, pause here, and give yourself a little timer. Then bring your chin line back to neutral. Tuck both hands behind your head. You can give me a soft little interlace and you can soften the palms, making space for the nape of your neck as you come into almost a surrender-like position with your elbow points nice and high. Then I'd like you to use your thumbs and your hands to pull the skin behind the nape of your neck up towards the ceiling. Think of trying to lengthen the neck as best you can. Keep those elbow points nice and tall and keep your spine as long and as lengthened as you can manage. Keep gently pulling up. Then keeping that length in the neck, take a big breath in. Let's say maybe for a count of 10. And then for a slow exhale of 10, you're going to twist just off center to one side and hold. Keep lengthening through your elbow points. Keep gently tugging on that skin at the back of your neck. Inhale for 10 and come back to center. Exhale for 10 and twist softly off center to the other side. Keep reaching along through your elbow points. Find your way gently back to center. Unbind the hands and wedge that cushion out from underneath your bum, but keep it close at hand because you are going to need it again. Unbind your legs and find your way to a 4-point kneeling frame on the mat. We're going to play with cat-cow and we'll add a little bit of kumbhakasana or retention today. Start in your tabletop line, hands underneath your shoulders, knees underneath your hips. Inhale to prepare as you come to the cow frame, hollowing out your back, taking your chin and your bum bones to the ceiling, but keeping your belly button softly pulled into center. And then on an exhale, round out in cat, nodding your chin to your chest and stretching into the shoulders and the lower back. At the end of your exhale, take a retention or hold the breath. So let's get into that little cycle and start playing with the breath. Let's inhale maybe for a count of 3 as you find your cow. Then exhale for a count of 6 as you find your cat. At the end of your exhale, try to hold or retain the breath for a further count of 6. Then find a steady rhythm of your own. Inhale. Exhale to pull up the pelvic floor, squeeze in the diaphragm and apply the chin lock. The Mula Bandha, the Uddiyana Bandha and the Jalandhara Bandha. Make this your last round of cat-cow Chakrabhakasana. Bleed your way into a tabletop line, and you can bring the knees maybe a little bit closer together. You could even sandwich them against each other. You can either keep your feet soft and relaxed, or you can tuck the toes under. I'm going to begin with my feet soft and relaxed as I find my way into a high kneeling frame on the mat. Tuck both hands behind your head in a surrender-like fashion. Try to find a nice tall stack on your body. So you're thinking shoulders over hips, hips over knees. Take a big breath in as you reach tall through your elbow points. And then on an exhale, think of hugging the 2 elbows in towards the midline, almost cupping your head. Inhale to open up the elbows. Exhale to hug in. If your knees are very sensitive, maybe roll your mat double or give yourself a little bit of padding underneath the knees. You're either going to stay here or you're going to add a little toe breaker stretch by tucking your toes under and maybe even sitting back on your heels as you hug in. And then maybe staying with the elbows wide, take a big breath in and drop just off the center line to one side. Keeping your bum sitting back on your heels so you're really getting an awesome stretch into the arches of your feet. Take that elbow drop to the other side. Lead your way back to center. Unbind your hands from behind your head, maybe placing your fingertips on the mat, and relax the feet behind you. We're going to come to a little modified frog pose from here. So preferably knees together and heels together. Take your block and place it on the floor in front of you. You're going to sit up nice and tall in Vajrasana, sitting your bum back to your heels. You're going to make a little fist with each hand. You're going to place the fists, knuckles looking into the center line on your lower belly. So you've got a little fist just inside of each hip bone. You're going to take a big breath in and then you're going to wrap your lower belly over your fisted hands and you're going to place your third eye, that little spot between the two eyebrows, gently on your block so that the block is pressing into your third eye. And you're going to take a couple of relaxing inhales and exhales here. As you wrap your belly over your two fists, you're going to press gently with your fists, actively using your knuckles to press into your lower belly. Enjoy that little massage into the lower viscera. Keep allowing the block to gently press into your third eye. When you're ready to come out of your modified Mandukasana, you're going to gently peel up and you're going to change your leg position, maybe placing your hands softly on the floor. You're going to start walking your knees further apart and then you're going to slide your feet out from underneath you so it feels like your feet are wrapping around your bum. Wiggle yourself apart or prise yourself apart till your bum cheeks are resting on the floor, knees nice and wide with your feet wrapped around your body. Then come into a little tadpole by reaching for your shin bones, pulling your shin bones up to the ceiling and finding even more of a grounding through your bum bones while lengthening through the spine as best you can. Stay here in your modified tadpole or use your thumbs to press that little tension spot in the middle of your foot. Just press softly into it. Looking for that length in the spine. Inhaling and exhaling softly and almost inaudibly through the nose. Give yourself a few more breaths here, and then we'll find ourselves our way into a modified hero Virasana, and we'll use the block as a prop on this one. Let go of that little tension spot in the middle of your foot. Reach for your block and place the block where you can comfortably sit your bum on it as you start changing your leg position, bringing the knees closer together along the midline of the body and just splaying your feet softly out. The knees don't physically need to touch, just have them closer along the midline of the body and try to splay your feet a little bit wider than your knees. Sit up nice and tall and then find a little massaging rub into the base of your feet, maybe using your knuckles, all 4 knuckles, to start at the back end of your foot, so towards the heel, and then just massage or press your way down towards the ball of your foot. Give yourself 2 or 3 more presses. And then we're going to find our way from here into puppy pose. Unseat yourself, placing your block one side just in case you need it again at a later time. Bring your legs into a parallel line. We're going to ease our way onto the belly from here. Let's take a relaxing foray into puppy from here. So from your 4-point kneeling frame, just slide your arms forward while trying to relax your lower belly towards the top of your thighs, piking your bum up nice and high to the ceiling, dropping down through the shoulders as if you were trying to tap your chin and your chest to the floor, and then softly looking off the front of the mat. Just take a couple of relaxing breaths here, breathing as deeply as you can into the front of your ribs. And then from puppy, you're just going to slide your way onto the belly, maybe relaxing the elbows wide, dragging your weight forward, finding your way onto the belly. And then as you get to the belly, I'd like you to keep your feet soft and relaxed. Place your palms on the mat alongside your body so that your fingertips are maybe just in front of your shoulder line. We're going to play with a little bit of dynamic cobra lines. Drop your forehead to the mat, pressing gently into the third eye. Keep your elbows squeezed in towards the midline as we play with our cobra. Pretend you've got a little marble underneath your nose. Start rolling the marble away from you towards the front of the mat and just peel up really slowly. One rib at a time, stopping in a baby cobra line with your bottom ribs still connected to the mat. Stay here, softly pushing off your palms and trying to lengthen your elbows towards the floor, looking for length in the neck, or take a little shrug and a release. Lifting one shoulder and lowering the other in a little spontaneous cobra, Sahaya Bhujangasana. Then find your baby cobra line and look over the left shoulder towards the back edge of your mat. Pause, hold that line, and then come back into your little cobra shrugs, lifting and lowering the shoulders one at a time. You're going to end high and you're going to look over the right shoulder. Come back to your little spontaneous cobra shrug. You're going to look over the left shoulder, stay there, or flip onto your right side, bending your elbow, maybe giving me a little fist off the mat, and just extending your opposite arm overhead. Just try to keep the feet stacked if you can. If your balance is off, maybe place one leg in front of the other and just take a modified stretch here. Don't collapse your frame into the mat, so push off your forearm and your elbow. Pretend that you've got a little ball underneath your rib cage. Just take a nice extended stretch here. Then ease your way back onto the belly, palms alongside your body, and find your little cobra shrug. Look over the right shoulder towards the back edge of the mat. Stay here. Or flip onto your side, propping yourself up onto the elbow and the forearm. Maybe making a little fist. Stacking the legs one on top of the other if you can. Or stacking the top leg in front of the bottom leg as you take your little modified side plank stretch. Don't collapse into the mat. So think of trying to grow the top of your rib cage towards the ceiling. Ease your way back onto your belly. Find your cobra line. Relax your forehead to the mat. Just take a nice recovery breath or two here. We're going to ease our way into a plank line from here. Tuck your toes under, and you can use your knee points for support if you need them. You're going to try to simultaneously push into your palms and your toes as you brace your core and push up into a plank. Body line nice and parallel to the mat. Don't collapse, so push the mat strongly away, brace your core. We're going to set ourselves up a pigeon line on the right. Think of bending the right knee as if you were trying to bring it in towards your hip crease, and then float the leg in so that you've either got the knee and the ankle in a straight line, or you can tuck the heel closer towards the perineum. Relax the whole lead leg, relax the back knee, shin, and foot. Then slide, walk, or creep your back leg away. Ease your way gently onto the forearms as if you were coming into a sphinx. And then if you can, try to fully extend the arms by walking them out and dropping your third eye to the mat. Close your eyes, take your focus in, try to connect to your inner gyroscope and get a sense of what you're doing with your body weight. Try not to lean all of the weight aggressively into one side. So try to keep the shoulders even on both sides and the hips and the pelvis even on both sides. Take a big breath in. And then on the exhale, you're going to thread your right arm underneath your left armpit. So you're threading towards the open side of your pigeon. Try to forge more or less an L frame between both arms, and then reach through both hands as long as you can, as if somebody was pulling the two hands in opposite directions, and hold that little stretch. You're resting comfortably on the side of your head, pressing gently into the right temple. Keep your belly button softly pulled into center as you hold your threaded pigeon. Take a few generous breaths here. And then bleed your way back into your extended pigeon line and walk your way into a high pigeon line with your hands stacking underneath your shoulders. You're going to find your way into a plank line from here. So if you're on the tall side, just maybe take a creep to the front of the mat so that you're not off your mat. You're going to step your lead leg back, find that strong plank, pushing the mat away, bracing your core, staying here in plank, Kumbhakasana, or you're going to come through the plank line and find an up dog, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, by allowing for a slight crescent shape through the back, looking up to the ceiling, but pushing strongly off your forearms. Toes are tucked under, so you're working into the arches of your feet. And then ease your way from here into a down dog. Trying to relax the heels of your feet towards the floor as best you can and holding your stretch here. Almost forging a triangular frame with your body, sending energy down through the heels of your feet, not leaning all the weight into your wrists, so slightly hollowing out your palms and drawing energy up through your fingertips and allowing that energy to travel along the meridian of your arms and into your back and your shoulders. Then step your right leg behind your left, just tucking it behind, maybe hovering it off the floor and just taking a little stretch on that left leg. Come back to your down dog frame. Take your left hand and reach for your right ankle or maybe the calf or maybe the top of your thigh and hold a little oblique stretch, maybe almost thinking of trying to thread or look your head underneath your right armpit as if you were looking up towards the ceiling. Try to keep your belly button softly pulled into center. Ease your way back to your down dog frame and hold. Take a little stretch here. Trying to ankle once more through your heels. Then think of taking a big lunge step wide with the right leg to the outside of your right hand. Splaying the foot softly out at 45. Make sure both hands are stacking underneath your shoulders. And then just take a high lizard lunge and hold. Maybe trying to hook your chin over the edge of your mat. Then relax the back knee, shin and foot. Open up your right knee even wider, maybe knife edging your front foot. Keep leaning your chin over the front edge of your mat while you hold your low lizard lunge, Uttan Pristhasana. We're going to find our way to a modified head to knee from here, and we are going to use the block. So you're going to start leaning your body weight back, reach for your block, place your block to the side of your back foot. Walk your weight back and sit your bum cheeks down on the block, extending your front leg out. You may be just going to softly fold forward in a modified head to knee, Janu Sirsasana. Maybe you're just placing your fingertips gently on the floor. Maybe you're relaxing down through the forearms. Maybe you're reaching for the undercarriage of your foot. You could even use a belt or a strap to hook around that leg. Just take a couple of generous breaths here. Breathing as deeply as you can into the back and the sides of your ribs. Just draping your body softly down, not overthinking the stretch too much at this stage. Give me a few more breaths here, then we're going to set up a modified gate line or Paringasana from here. When you're ready to come into your gate line, you're going to walk your hands back so you're in more of a high seat. You're going to push off your prop, place your block one side, and then lean all of the weight into your right bum. Slide the right leg out and try to open up your frame slightly, trying to tuck the back heel as close towards your bum as you can and trying to forge more or less an L frame between both legs. If this is not comfortable for you, you can either bring the two knees closer together or you can maybe bring the sole of your left foot to the inseam of your right leg. Find your frame and then using your block, if you can, take a big breath in and try to hook the block around your foot. Pulling the block in towards your body line and at the same time pushing with your foot into the block as you softly fold forward once more, thinking nose to knee. You're just going to hold that stretch for a few breaths. Breathe as deeply as you can into the back and the sides of your ribs. Keep pulling the block softly in towards your body line and at the same time push or resist with your foot. So you really are feeling quite an intense stretch up the back chain of your lead leg. Keep your belly button softly pulled into center. Then gently peel up. Place your block one side, maybe just placing both sets of fingertips on the mat. You're going to focus on the back knee. Trying to keep the foot softly connected to the floor. You're just going to flap the knee softly up and down. And you might not get much lift off the floor. You are going to get quite an intense stretch into that back foot and ankle. Really slowly, mindfully. There's no rush on the mat today. You're going to find your way from here into a butterfly line. Maybe place the hands on the mat behind you. Sweep your back leg to the front, bringing the soles of both feet together. Scooch your perineum closer towards your feet. Find your butterfly line first. And then maybe keep your left fingertips on the floor and use your right palm to push the right knee away, maybe dropping down slightly through the shoulder as you twist to the left to look over the left shoulder towards the back edge of your mat and just hold your twisted butterfly. Parivrtta Padda Konasana. Come back to center And do the same on side 2. Placing your right fingertips on the mat behind you, using your left palm to prise the left knee away, twisting or rotating slightly to the right so that you can peek over that right shoulder towards the back edge of your mat. Pause here. Ease your way back to center, maybe pushing off both sets of fingertips, floating the 2 shoulder blades closer together, trying to float your bosom up closer towards the ceiling, dropping the knees open as wide as you can while keeping the 2 feet softly sandwiched together. We're going to ease our way from here into a deep squat line, and we're going to use the block as a prop. Step your feet wide to the outer corners of your mat, and you can take the feet as wide or as narrow as you need to walk your way into a squat line. Reach for your block, tuck the block underneath you, either flat or you can find yourself a higher wedge if you need to. You're going to just ease your way into a deep supported squat line. Feet are softly splayed out. You're going to bring your hands to prayer, and you're going to actively use your elbow points to press or prise the 2 thighs apart. Just sit up as tall as you can. Allowing your 2 bum bones to gently dig into your prop as you find your seat in Malasana. Keep your belly button gently pulled in to center. Give yourself a couple of generous breaths here. And then when you're ready to come out of Malasana, you're going to ease your way into child pose. So maybe just feeding the block out from underneath you. Keep it at hand. You're going to gently step the legs back. Big toes together, knees open nice and wide. Then bend the elbows. Stack your palms one on top of the other. And rest your forehead, or start by resting your forehead on the back of your palms. Take a big breath in. And then on an exhale, I want you to roll onto your right temple. And I want you to try to drop your right shoulder blade down into the mat. Maybe keeping your eyes closed and your focus inward. Inhale to come back to center. So the weight is once more pressing into your third eye. And on an exhale, you're going to roll onto your left temple. And you're going to make your left shoulder blade as heavy as you can to the mat, almost trying to drop down a little bit more through the left shoulder. Ease your way softly back to center. We're going to run through that sequencing on side 2. Ease your way into 4-point kneeling from here. Make sure that you've got enough room to step your legs back into a plank. Step back the legs one at a time. Find a nice strong plank line. Body line is parallel to the mat as you can comfortably manage. Core is strong, legs are strong. You're going to set up your pigeon line on the left. Think knee to hip crease. Rotate the foot in and find the angle on the lead leg that works for you. Relax both the lead leg and the back leg. Then slide, walk or creep the back leg away. Set up your pigeon line. Make sure that your lead knee is either hip width distance or maybe a little bit wider than hip width distance so that you can square up comfortably through the pelvis. Ease your way down onto the forearms. And then if you feel good there, start walking into full extension, creeping your hands out as far as you can and allowing the third eye to gently press into the floor. Take a few breaths here, just reaching as long as you can through the tips of your fingers. And then when you're ready to thread, you're going to thread towards the open side of your pigeon. Take a big breath in. On the exhale, you're going to thread your left arm underneath your right armpit. You're going to think of coming to rest on your left temple and trying to forge more or less an L frame between your 2 hands. Reach as long as you can through both sets of hands. Maybe sliding or creeping the hands further away, reaching as long as you can. Keep your belly button softly pulled into center. When you're ready to come out of your threaded stretch, You're going to ease your way back into your extended line, both arms overhead and on the mat behind you, up in front of you. My bad. And then you're going to walk your hands back towards your body line. And you're going to ease your way into a plank line from here. Tuck your back toe under, bring the knee up off the floor. Slide your lead leg back and find that strong plank line. Body line is parallel to the mat as you can manage. Stay here or come into an up dog by dropping through the plank line, but not collapsing through your shoulders and your belly. So it's a really controlled crescent shape that you're looking for here. Keep pulling the weight back into your heels, activating your core and your legs. And then ease your way into a little down dog hold, piking your bum up to the ceiling, maybe sliding your feet slightly forward so that you can get more anchor through the feet. Hold your stretch here, almost feeding your nose through the hands as if you wanted to tap your nose towards your knees, getting an awesome stretch into the shoulders. Take a big breath in and then cross the left leg behind the right, maybe just floating that left leg off the mat, just tucking it comfortably behind your right heel and holding the stretch here. Keep pulling your belly button softly into center. Float back to your down dog frame. Take a big breath in and then reach your right arm for the outside of your left ankle, or maybe your left calf, or maybe the top of your thigh. Hold the stretch. Almost think of threading underneath your left armpit as if you were looking around the armpit up towards the sky. Keep your belly button gently pulled into center. Awesome stretch on the obliques. You're going to ease your way back to your down dog frame. Give yourself a recovery breath or two before thinking of setting up that little lizard lunge. When you're ready, you're going to take a big step, lunge step to the outside of your left hand. You're going to splay the foot softly out at 45, and you're just going to lean into the lunge, dropping down through the pelvis and trying to hook your chin over the edge of your mat. Take a glance at your hands and make sure that your hands are stacking underneath the shoulders as you come into position. Then relax your back knee, your shin, and your foot. Focus on the front leg. Maybe starting to knife edge the front foot. Allow the knee to fall out and just hold that little stretch of your chin over the front edge of your mat. Give yourself a moment or two here. Make sure you're not collapsing down towards the mat. So the shoulders are strong the whole time. You're pushing the mat away with your hands. We're going to find our way to that modified head to knee from here, using our block as a cushion. Start walking the weight back. Reach for your block. Place the block alongside your back foot and just situate yourself down on the block. Sit up nice and tall. Make sure that your seat is supporting your body weight. You're just going to give me a gentle forward fold. Maybe placing your fingertips or your palms on the mat. Maybe you creeping forward to wrap around your foot. Maybe you'd like to use a strap or a hand towel around the foot. You're just going to find your seat and give yourself a couple of generous breaths here. Don't worry about how close your nose or your chest is getting to that lead leg. Just drape yourself forward, close your eyes, take your focus inward, and breathe as deeply as you can into the back and the sides of your ribs. Then gently peel up. We're going to find our way into a gate line from here. Feed your block out from underneath your bottom and situate yourself down onto the left bum cheek. Open up your right knee slightly to the side of the room, trying to forge an L frame between the two legs, and tuck your back foot and your back heel. Think of wrapping it around your bum if you can. Reach for your block. Take a big breath in and see if you can hook the block over your foot. Pull the block in towards your body line, resist with the foot, and then just fold forward, thinking nose to knee or as close to that proximity as you can manage. Activate the stretch. Keep pulling the block in and keep resisting with your foot. Try to relax that left kneecap. The left kneecap is maybe going to want to gravitate towards the ceiling. I'd like you to try to relax the back of that knee to the floor as you hold the stretch. Give yourself a couple of generous breaths here. Then gently peel up. Place your block one side. You're going to need it just now. Sit up as tall as you can. Place your fingertips on the mat and just focus on that back knee. Placing your fingertips on the mat, you're going to try to keep the foot grounded as you try to just give me a few butterfly flaps, lifting and lowering that back knee off the floor so that you're getting a little bit of work into your ankle and your foot on the back leg. Then ease your way from here into a butterfly line. Sweep the back leg in front of you. Bring the 2 feet together. Knees are open nice and wide. Scoot your bum closer towards your perineum. Setting up your butterfly line. Take a big breath in. Keep your right hand on the floor behind you. Take the left hand. Place it palm down on the inside of your left leg. Push the knee away and rotate to look over the right shoulder. Don't worry about how close that knee is getting to the floor. Rather focus on the beautiful stretch you're feeling on the inside of your hip bone on the left and feeding into the groin area. Then come back to center, maybe pushing off both sets of hands, chest floating up to the ceiling before you take the stretch to the other side. Place your right palm on the inside of your right knee, push away, look over that back shoulder, taking a slight twist to look over the back edge of your mat. Give yourself a couple of generous breaths here. And then when you're ready, you're going to think of finding your way into your deep squat using your block as a prop. Step your feet out wide, reach for your block so that it's at hand. Find your deep squat line. Play with the shape of the block. Find a prop that you want today. Feet are softly splayed out. You're going to bring your hands to prayer. You're going to push with your elbow points on the inside of your knees. And you're going to just drop down and anchor into the block through your bum bones. Keep the feet equally weighted if you can, so you're feeling the weight wrapping around from your big toe towards the little toe, anchoring through the heel at the same time. Give yourself a couple of generous breaths here. And then we'll ease our way into child pose one last time before we run through a little relaxation exercise to wrap today's class. Feed the block out. Ease your way into child pose. Big toes together, knees softly splayed out. Bend your elbows, stack the palms one on top of each other, relaxing your third eye into the back of your hands. Take a big breath in. On a slow exhale, start rolling onto your left temple and then come to rest on the left temple and drop your left shoulder blade as heavy as you can, trying to anchor a little bit more through the left side of the shoulders. Inhale and find your way back to center. Exhale to roll onto your right temple and then make the right shoulder blade as heavy as you can towards the mat, keeping your eyes closed and your focus inward. Ease back onto the third eye. And then for relaxation, you can either elect to stay here in child pose. If you'd like to come to Shavasana, you can maybe just come onto the tips of your fingers in a modified 4-point kneeling, tuck the toes under, take a little bunny hop forward, crossing the feet behind you, and then just giving me a soft fall back to come into corpse pose. Feet softly splayed out, arms softly splayed out, lying comfortably on your back. Or if you prefer to come to a seated position, you can just rock up and find maybe Sukhasana, tucking one leg in front of the other and sitting up nice and tall. Pick your poison. And just close your eyes and take your focus inward. Try to keep your eyes closed for the next couple of minutes as we run through a little relaxation exercise, maybe taking a scarf or a hand towel and just placing it over your eyes to darken the room if need be. Close your eyes, take your focus inward. Visualize yourself climbing into a luxurious jacuzzi spa. At first, I want you to just sit on the lip of that spa bath. Dip your toes in, wiggle them around as the sensation of the warm, bubbling water hits your feet. I'd like you to take a big sigh and just relish that luxury. Then scooch yourself a little bit further into the water so that your knees are hanging over the lip and the whole bottom part of your legs is dipped into the water. Take another deep sigh that feels so good. Then slowly begin lowering yourself into the water until you're comfortably sitting in your spa bath. Then slink down further till the water is totally covering your shoulders and the lower half of your body. Tip your head back and rest onto a beautiful folded plush pillow towel supporting the back of your neck. Someone places cool cucumber slices on your closed eyes. I'd like you to just bliss out. Allow your mind to drift. Feel your body becoming light and totally weightless. Maybe tuning yourself to your gentle inhalation and exhalation cycle, feeling totally buoyant, relaxed, soft, release. Stay here, drifting for as long as you need to. When you're ready to end off your practice for today's class, just nod your chin to your chest on a gentle whisper, Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me today. I really do hope that you enjoyed today's class. Give me a thumbs up if you did enjoy. Remember to shoot me your comments below. Make sure your notifications for this channel are turned on and be ready for playtime on the mat tomorrow. Till then, keep it light.